got an introductory slide, so that's why I stood up so very fast. Anyway, just some reflections on things that I've learnt, things I tried to get into government through Architecture and Design Scotland, illustrated by some of Anderson Bell Christie's work. I think because the planet's in such a dire state, because our development of it rather than our investment in it, we really understand habitat much better and how important it is for animals, but we're not actually really thinking about what it's doing to us. We've talked about Place tonight, in particular Pigeon Perfect and the work they do, but that's really the thing that to me matters if you're going to get some kind of social society, because society, other than Mrs. T thought, is what will save us, I think. And I think we really need to get close up to that and get our planning system working better. Obviously, these are the kinds of places that come out if we don't think about preferable futures, as someone talked about. This is what we get, and you cannot. I defy Pigeon Perfect to do something really good in that space. Oh, go on. It's shit. And basically, the outcome is we become desensitized as animals, because actually we are animals, and the sooner we get closer to that, the better we'll actually understand what our places should be. They're over-engineered. Risk has become the driver, and decisions are made that actually cost money and look terrible. So, back to the animals, and there are places that we're actually getting it. We're getting things right, and we're using place to make things better. We're doing the work that Pigeon Perfect have talked about, getting up to people. I was fortunate. I actually graduated when there was buildings we could build for young people, but now you can't, because the decisions are being made by others in places that are actually not necessarily for the benefit of Scottish place. And again, somebody said earlier, Scotland's a small place. We do have the opportunity to try and make change, and boy, we've got to take it, and everybody's got to be part of that. Things are getting better. Architecture and Design Scotland is doing work like this with people to imagine different ways of planning. Physical planning that is driven by an understanding of what the impacts are. And that's something we're going to keep pushing for, because for too long planning has been about words. We've got examples of things we can do better. This is the Highland Housing Fair up in Inverness, and it's got some of the best work of Scottish architects. It's got a place at the heart of it that actually where the community can come together. Obviously it's a one-off, but we need to persuade people that that's the kind of housing that developers should be doing by default. Housing that allows you to have a workspace, like a new muse at the back of it, or a place that your elderly mother could live in. The places that also integrate streets that actually are not the ones that you saw in the previous slides. That's a sustainable urban drainage system, but that is not the kind we always do. Our elderly are getting, to be lost in the institutionalisation of nursing homes. This is some elderly care work that we did, elderly care home that we did, but it is a ghetto for older people, but at least we've got places where people come together. Schools can be places of imagination. This is our school at Octorada. This is actually one in perhaps, don't know, pass. But basically working with artists there, and again, they've been able to make that school so much better for kids because they've come to that experience of what place can be. Drumchapel Graven were involved working with us here. Tim Taylor's artwork. I've made the building because the building is a means to an end, and it's more important because architects love objects. Oh God, it's beautiful. But it's actually about the inside and what that can do. Kids come to this building very scared, but they leave hopefully having seen all that great art and enjoying it. This is a building on call we did, and again, it's a community building funded by lottery, but what's really important is that building on an island has allowed people to do things they couldn't do before. They had a horrible little damp place that they couldn't actually do things like this. And again, older buildings too. This is Great Thompson Steps in the West End. But here the community are coming together to try and get the cash to sort the space because it's crumbling. But they're doing so much work, and it's place bringing people together, an investment, and it's about the architecture as well. And this is a wee monologue of Great Thompson. This is just a tiny space in a building because we've got to do it at different scales. And this is where my interest is. We think about security, we don't think about sociability in buildings in architecture as much as we should. Good designers always have, but it hasn't been embedded in the process. So if you were asked to examine the spaces that you make and what people could do in them more, this is a stalled space in the, near the High Street, where again, through an initiative that Architecture and Design Scotland is now funding, people are able to do things which are just so brilliant and bring together communities to do things we wouldn't have imagined. So again, it's testing how people can use and abuse space as part of the whole premise of what people do in cities, what people do in playgrounds and other areas. To me, that's the essence of what this social test would be of architecture in the future. And again, we need to do that. We need to all get behind it. The chief architect is the chap with the glasses looking quizzical on the right-hand side. But everybody's got to get out there and do it at different scales, because if we don't do it, that kind of development is taking the life out of places. So, we have all these things already. We've got sustainability, it's BREEAM, we've got secure by design, we're obsessed with it. Building for life is another measure. NHS is really interested in lots of stuff. We've got barrier-free housing, but we don't have social things. We don't have, how do people come together in a space? So that's my little premise. Let's start something that's called social by design. Everything we do in the built environment, how can it be used? How can it be abused for fun? And let's get the right things sorted. So, thank you very much.